one thing that I can tell you here today is that if you stop looking for quick and easy and decide, finally decide to do the work required and be curious about yourself and your trading, maybe, just maybe, you would actually start seeing some progress in your trading very quickly, actually. Yeah. So what I'm talking about is the way that you approach your learning as a trader. So what people do is to search for something that is ready-made. But just like food that is ready-made, it is not as good for you. It is not as nutritious as if you actually make it from scratch. And as a trader, that is a very important skill to develop, to create something from scratch, to be curious about the different parts of a trading strategy and to work on what doesn't work. Yes, you have to work on the things that doesn't work and you have to extract what works and move them forward, right? So I would like to, let's actually bring up a whiteboard here. If you view this as a circle, right? You view it as a circle. The first part of the circle would be to collect data, right? And that means that you have a system, a strategy that you can actually put into something, the market, right? And you can actually duplicate it and collect data from it so you can see what works, what doesn't. Is this profitable? Because that is the ultimate question for every trader to answer, right? But yeah, first to actually do this, you would have to create a system. You can also call it strategy. That is the same thing, okay? So you would, come on, create a system, a strategy, then you would deploy that strategy in actual trading, actual markets, okay? You would collect the data, you would review and adjust. Which means what? Well, you review your data, right? The statistics, hit rates, risk to reward ratios. When does the strategy work? Does it work around the opens? Does it work when the volatility is high? Does it work when the volatility is low? What different market environments does this strategy or system perform in? And when does it not work? Maybe you can optimize it just after that because there is very seldom a strategy that works in all environments, right? So it is up to the trader to deploy the strategy only and only when the environment is, optimal for that strategy. So create that system, collect data, review your system, your data, and of course your performance. That is actually very important because maybe, at least sometimes, right, it is nothing wrong with the strategy because the strategy would actually produce results if you actually perform with it, which means that you don't hesitate when you get opportunities. You act, without emotions, without doubt. You risk the right percentage. Everything you can basically lump into performance, right? So if your performance is spot on, then you can actually view the details, the statistics, the numbers of the strategy and say, this is what it is. But unless your strategy is on point, well, you will have to fix that first. So actually good that I remember that. Next part here is to optimize and test again. And this is actually a circle that should go around and around. At least that's what I think. So you always start by creating a system or strategy. Then you will have to collect the data. And I mean, I prefer to collect data in live markets. So you can use a demo account and trade just as you are supposed to do later, right? But you don't use real money when you're collecting data and testing stuff. That's something that you can do later. For example, here, when you can see that something is actually working, okay? but wait until then. So collect data, then you review the data that you have collected, and you can batch it up in number of trades. For example, 20 trades, and then you do 20 trades again, and then you do 20 trades again, and you start comparing, for example, different market environments, different times that you trade. Maybe you trade the open for 20 trades, and you trade the close of the session for 20 trades, or maybe you just trade randomly whenever you get a signal for 20 trades, and then you do some more, and you can start to compare and see what works and what doesn't. And at the same time, of course, keep track on your performance so you don't enter late, you don't exit before your targets and stuff like that. Unless, of course, that is a part of your plan. But you will have to make sure that the performance is on point, okay? The goal has to be to perform at 100% in accordance with your training plan or system that you have up there, right? And yeah, so when you have reviewed, you see what works, what doesn't. That's the question. These are the questions that you work with when you are reviewing and adjusting. So what you want to do here is basically to extract what works, and you know that is the optimized plan, right? This is the end result of your optimization, okay, that you can do after the review and the adjustment, okay? And then you do this all over again. And at last, you will have a product or a system that works pretty well if you do this, you know, the right way. Of course, there is no guarantee that you will actually end up with a profitable system, but this is the process that I use to create the process. And this is a systematic approach to actually, you know, not only build a system, build a strategy, but actually to build the performance part or the experience part that is required to succeed as a trader. Because if you're looking for ready-made, you will never get the experience of doing all of this, which means that you don't know what worked when you actually, you know, created the system. You don't know what didn't work and why something isn't part of it. So the experience or the process of building systems like this is equally as important as the final strategy or product itself. So yeah, traders, hopefully you will get some great ideas from this. Use whatever you want from it or don't use it, do whatever you want. But this is how I view the process of building strategies. So stop looking for ready-made, and, you know, maybe you should just be curious again, right? And start testing things instead of thinking that someone else has the answer to everything. Of course, you can learn a lot from other people, other traders. You can get lots of inspiration, ideas for your strategies. But eventually, if you want to succeed in this game, you have to start doing things on your own. You will have to start building stuff and creating things from your own experience.